Howdy folks, Little John on the back veranda and about to do an early taste testing on the Bourbon smoked honey porter that was done back at the end of March. This was the brew day that was, the video was interrupted a bit. Jason over, he was brew day, having a few beers and a bit of chat and whatnot, and got lost. And anyway, but the video's there. I'll stick the card up so you can go back and have a look at it if you haven't seen it already. Get an idea of what was actually happening and what was going. Now, just to catch up, base porter I've done with a whack of, it was bloody mesquite smoked malt, which was around 16% of the grain bill, and then we were aged only for a short period of time after fermentation with a little bit of bourbon barrel. Now I used, this has not been put into a barrel. I used staves, dominoes they're actually called, chunks of oak, which have been used by me for oaking and aging bourbon. So same thing you get if you broke down a barrel or if you stuck it into a barrel. And it was only for a couple of days in the ferment. I didn't want to get a big oaky flavour or a big bourbon flavour. I just wanted maybe just a hint. And it may get lost in amongst everything else that's in these brews, but we will see. And then I've bottled them and I've primed some with honey and some with just carb drops, so I can actually have a comparison, because it's no good just having it all done with honey and not being able to see what difference there is. That just goes against everything Little John stands for. But anyway, they're their three versions. They've all poured quite differently. So first one here on my left, or your right, or your left for the dyslexic people, is the batch that was brewed and fermented with 1099, the Whitbread from Y yeast, liquid yeast, and it's been primed with honey. I did, at 6 grams a litre, I did a honey and water mix, and then very accurately measured out in a rough sort of a way, and then was added to each bottle with a syringe, 6 mils of the final liquid per bottle. So it equates to 6 grams a litre, so it's a fairly standard measurement. The honey should give around 5 grams a litre of actual fermentable sugar, so it's a little bit lighter than some carbonation, but it's definitely within style for a porter or a stout. So that's that fella, 1099 with the honey prime. And the head was a little bit lighter, sort of. It's creamy what's there. It's coming up. I'm going to direct some, but it's got a definite red tinge about it. No real great. There's a bit of smoke. The smoke was quite evident during the ferment, but it's there. And again, it wasn't big smoke driven, so it's never going to be a major part of the beer, but it's just there for some character. The beer in the middle is It's been brewed with MJ15 Mangrove Jack's Empire Ale, and it's been primed with half carb drop. The notes there's a little bit lighter on that, but there's still a bit of honey there. It's hard to tell. These all look to be very clear, considering these are only been in the bottle for 3 weeks. Bottle on the 28th of April, so just on 3 weeks. Well, it's not even quite 3 weeks. It'll be 3 weeks on Sunday, 2 days away. So it's still a bit young. And bottle on the end is the same as this one. It's the Empire Ale, but this has been primed with honey as well. Now, just looking at these, this one does seem to be a little bit more carved than his mate with the carb drop. You can see it's got a bit of a heavier head. And the smoke notes possibly a little more pronounced on that too than his mate here. So interesting. I'm just wondering whether straight away whether that's the honey's got something to do with that, whether that's affecting that that nose. But anyway, vital numbers. Original gravity was 1060. The Whitbread finished off at 1008 for 7.3% in the bottle. So it's not mucking around, it's fairly serious. Now that is allowing for the honey, and obviously the carb drops, yeah, that's included in that, that's said in the bottle. So at 1008, so I'm expecting that to be a little bit drier. And then the Empire Ale, it finished off at 1012. So it's 6.7% in the bottle. So not quite the kick, and should have a little bit more body in it. So let's get into them. I'm going to start here. Let's go left to right, or right to left, depends how you want to look at it. Well, it depends. No, it is exactly how you're looking at it. So that's pretty clear. Of course I can't see if it's quite dark, but you can see the light through it quite well. It's got a nice ruby tone. It's quite good. The lightness, you notice the lightness on the body straight away. It's not thin. Got a very light, but it does have a very light mouthfeel for for a dark beer. It's a little bit, not really what you're expecting. There is some nice smoke there. And you taste it in the back. You can taste it in the back of the mouth. It's got that that hammy, bacony, lingering taste at the back of the mouth, on the very back of the tongue. That's all you're getting. It's only there though. It's not anywhere else. And it's only very slight, and as it's gone now. It's not lingering. You're not getting a big that big ham flavour that you can get with some smoked malts. I know having from a French and Curler, it's got a lot of ham notes to it. So that's nice. There's touches of slight touches of coffee and the chocolate. There's chocolate in the mix, there's flaked oats, which there is a creaminess and smoothness to it. Caramuni, Carafa, Black Malt and Special B, they're all just adding that little bit there, but nothing's really jumping out. I didn't want anything jumping out, I was really trying to let the malt and the honey do its thing. Now I don't think the honey's particularly noticeable in that. Let's jump to his mate in the middle here. So we're jumping up to the Empire Ale and the slightly lower alcohol and higher gravity. Now to the bodies. There's more body. It's not quite as smooth. There's smoothness in there. I'm almost wondering whether it's the honey contributing to it. The smoke's there. Not picking up that hammy, bacony flavour quite as much in that, and the smoke's not quite as noticeable. Which is a bit strange. It could just be the gravity musking, but it's definitely there. You can taste it. It hasn't got quite the impact I would have liked. From having tried commercially samples, I don't think it's a particularly easy thing to get a good smoked body without really pushing it. As I said, 16% is not really having a big go. I didn't want to push it to the point of being just too smoky and be overpowering and ruin the beer. So it's definitely working. It's a bloody very tasty brew. As I said, given it's only 3 weeks in the bottle, it is so far off really being aged and ready to drink. So the final side, now this is the 1099, no, sorry, the Empire Ale, but this has got the honey prime. There's definitely a slight difference in the body, in the feel, between the honey and the carb drop. It's not massive. I mean, it's not a big thing, and it's not easy. It's not a big. It's not noticeable. And whether you pick it in, say, like in the triangle test, I don't know, but it is different. There is a different feel. As I said, in the blind test, there might be enough going on overall that it may be difficult to pick. But there is a different feel. Now, I've just done this before. I've looked at the priming methods before and done a video, and this was ages ago. And I think it was the very first video I ever actually did. And anyway, it's a long time ago. To see how you want to go. You want to go and look for it. It's on the channel. Go and find it. And I was looking at the differences between different priming methods and how that affected the final beer. And I've had some really big arguments and quite heated discussions at times with people over the differences that your priming sugars can make to the taste and final finish of a beer. And this right here is another example of the differences that things can make. Right now, I'm saying that the beer with the honey and the priming has a nicer finish. I don't think the honey is really doing anything. It's not contributing flavour wise anyway. Not on a noticeable level. I can't taste the honey, and I didn't really think I would. This is why honey, it gets lost in beers generally, because by the time you ferment the sugars out of it, there's nothing left. The tiny amount that's left to give you flavour is so small, it's very hard to notice it. In a wheat beer or a very light lager, yeah, you'll pick it up because there's nothing else there. But in a beer with this much flavour and competition, the honey just can't do anything. As I said, it was more about how it was going to go with the finish. That was more what I was looking at. And I did not want to use it in the ferment and just make these beers empty and dry, which is what honey can do. So essentially it's just another adjunct. So I didn't want to do that. I just wanted enough to have some impact, and that's what it's done. Just simply by having that little bit. So as I said, 6 grams a litre. So these are 330ml bottles, so we're talking a third of a litre. There's 2 grams of honey in each glass. So it's not much. It's not much. You're asking a lot if you're going to like to have that stand up and go, hello, I'm honey, I'm here. But as I've discussed, when it comes to priming, the amount that's in there is enough to affect the finish and can change it, and it definitely is. As I said, those two are exactly the same beer. Only difference is carb drop for carbonation. It's a bloody nice beer. And honey, and what I'm getting right there on that mouthful is there's more depth. The flavours are, they're deeper and more pronounced in this than this with the carb drops. Why? Who knows? It was like that initially with that smell. There's smoke, very evident smoke in that beer. That one, I've got to look for it. It's there, but only because I'm looking for it. Yeah, but it's definitely the same as that, and not the same as that. These 2 beers taste very different to that beer. No, I'm going to say very different. Again, that's not huge amounts of difference, but it is different. There's definitely a smokier note to those, which is this very distinguishable and very easy to pick up. Where you've got to look for it in that. And I said, the flavours are more, they're bolder, they're deeper. Now even that, 4 points lower on the gravity, a thinner beer, but there's still more depth in the flavour than there is here. Which is really, that's very interesting, because generally, when we carbon beers, we just use carb drops or sugar, dextrose, table sugar, carb drops, all very similar. I use carb drops quite a lot. A, because they're simple, and I've found from previous experiments that they don't really add or detract too much from the beer that you're making. Now, I have commented on those videos where I've done the comparisons. The different variations of priming methods work better for certain beer styles. It would certainly appear in this case that honey works better. Okay, hang on. Let me rephrase that. Honey gives a different finish than the carb drops. It's not just a case of, and it's actually it's the opposite to what I was expecting. I sort of expected it more to pull down the flavour a little bit and be a little bit more empty and hollow. But what it's done is actually it's attenuating the flavours and the depth of what's there, and it's making it more interesting. Now, so what we have here is the base beer. Now, in all this, I've got to say, I'm not getting any evidence of the bourbon barrel effect. Yeah, actually is there. It is there. I wasn't looking for it. I was looking more about the smoke and the honey. I think there's definitely some effect there from the bourbon barrel. It's not massive. It's working. It's just part of those. All those flavours are all just working together nicely to give us, that base. There's not individual flavours. It's working all together as one. And I would expect that given time that those flavours will pull apart. This is why you age porters and stouts. And I've discovered this pretty much universally with any of those darker beers. You give them time and those individual flavours all become individual. Right now, a 3-week-old beer, they're mixed bloody well. I mean, this is bloody a nice beer. In 3 weeks, this is by far the best porter / stout I think I've ever made. But as I said, the experience tells me that, knowing that given they give these bottles 3 months, those flavours, those individual flavours will start to separate, and you'll start to taste the chocolate and the smoke and the bourbon barrel, the oakiness, the sweetness from the caramunic and the bit of ash and the roast from the special bees and the black malt. It takes time, and this is why we age. Go away, bloody dogs. All they want to do is play. They can't just leave you alone. Yeah, hello. Say hello to the people. Yeah, good girl. Go away. And this is what I say. Let your dark beers age. Give them time. They've got to develop. For a lot of beers, time is about integrating all the flavours coming together, everything melding into one and becoming a nice balance. But for a good stout or a good porter where there's big individual flavours, it needs time for them to separate. Prime example is the Sun's the wedding porter, which is now 8 months old, I think, somewhere around there. September 9, 5. Yeah, 8 months old, close enough. and it's starting to pull back. It's always been a nice beer. It's always been a decent beer. I've only had a couple of tastes, but the flavours pull apart, and this is what I expect will happen with this. So that honey may become noticeable down the track. The smoke, I think, will become much more noticeable. So I mean, if you knock this, you knock this particular beer out, or just your own versions, any stouts, doing your own stouts and porters at home, you've got to let them age. I mean, I know what it's like. I mean, like I said, you pull this out, it's been in the bottle for 3 weeks, you've put it in the cupboard, you've finished fermenting it, you've put it away, you're waiting for it to carb up and get ready to drink. You pull it out and you crack a bottle. And you get that. And it's like, yeah, let's drink that. That's good. But you're wasting what that beer is going to become. It is going to get so much more interesting and involved. I mean, so ask anyone who's let a good porter, and it's not just porter, really anything that's higher alcohol tends to do better with letting it sit for a while. And these are pushing into the higher end of the scale, really, really 6.7%, 7.3%. They're strong beers. I'm noticing, like right now sitting here, I'm noticing the alcohol. I'm not noticing it in the taste. It's not showing up at all. But I'm feeling it up here. But you pull these beers out and it's so tempting to go, let's just drink it because it tastes good. No. Put it away. Put some beers, put some bottles in the fridge, yes, drink it. Because it's bloody good beer. You're not going to go, like, I'm sorry, but I could be a very, very short list of commercial stouts that I've ever tried that I'd rather drink than that. And it's 3 weeks old, for fuck's sake. So put some in your fridge so you can drink them now. Put them away. Come back in 2 months and try one. Or 2. Or 3. Come back 2 months later and try another couple. Give another 2 months. Or a month, whatever. Try it again and see the difference. Because I think this beer is going to develop. And your porters and your stouts at home, they will all do the same thing. They will all develop. All, the effort you put into picking the malts and the balances and the and the combinations and the hops. Not even looking at the moment at what contribution the hops are playing to these beers. There's so many factors. I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different malts, 3 hops, bourbon oak, smoke, honey for priming, 8, 11, 12, 13 individual factors contributing to the taste of this beer. Give those individual parts time to do their thing, and I think this beer will age really well. It will develop, it will change as it goes, it will become different, it will go through ebbs and flows, it will become good, it will become bad. Oh, nah. This beer, I don't think it's ever going to become bad. It will vary, it will change, different flavours will come up at different times depending on it's good. But store it properly. Get it, store your beer, store them at the right temperature. I've done it inside here. The keg fridge died, so I've got another fridge, and I've actually dedicated to being a conditioning fridge, which I've always wanted, never had. I had the idea to do it and actually turn what was going to be the conditioning fridge into a keg fridge. But have a fridge, you can just keep your beers. I keep them at 15 degrees now. And you can keep beers at 15 degrees forever and a day. Yeah, and they'll still be good. And these will just develop well. So it's very hard to wrap. I want to wrap this beer up, but it's very hard to just wrap it up. There's so many things influencing what's going on. But I'll put this in. So for anybody who's interested in looking to follow the guidance on this recipe, or to use it as a, for going forward, the level of smoke in this beer works. I think a little bit more wouldn't hurt. That being said, this was mesquite smoked malt. It is a lighter, more fruity, not quite fruity, but it's a less intense smokiness than, say, using just a straight German Rauch malt. So I think the level is good. You could use, use a different malt. I used a mesquite because why the hell not, sounded good to me. I couldn't get what I actually wanted. And I'm pretty sure it's a mesquite malt. Like I said, it's in the original video. I haven't got it written down here. I've actually got the recipe. I've just got Rauch malt because that's what was in Beer Mate. So you could add a little bit different, but I think a stronger malt is going to give you a little bit more character anyway. This recipe, as it is, works. I can't right now think of any part that I would change or alter to make this different, which is really hard for me to say because it's unusual. Because there's normally something you normally go, oh, there's not quite enough of this, there's not quite enough of that. Even the honey, though it's not contributing any individual flavour, it's clearly made a difference to the beer. So it's doing its thing. So again, I wouldn't change that. I'm actually wondering whether I should try more bloody dark beers with honey. That's certainly something I might be looking at a little bit more in the future. But yeah, this is I'm really, really happy with this beer. If there was, let's find one negative. Got to find one negative. Got to do it. You can't just bloody talk it up completely and say it's bloody fantastic. There isn't enough bourbon barrel character. These are sat now. God knows how long it's been. Must be fucking 25 minutes. They're sat for a while. They're warmed up. They're not bloody. They're not cold. They're not icy cold. The flavours have come out. I'm going to be a bumble of mess, and the missus gets home. I'll probably give a cheek and get in trouble. Too bad. Bring it on. No. Yeah, there's not a lot of that bourbon flavour, and so realistically, probably taking these beers off. I just opened in primary. I didn't even go to secondary. I just threw the oak chips into the primary once the fermentation was finished. So it's the only thing I could possibly look at saying that could be done to make it different would be to go to a secondary, go those bourbon chips, the Dominoes, the States, whatever it is, and let it sit for longer to get more of that effect. But right now, whatever part it's playing it bloody well. And for me, I'm very happy with whatever it's done because I said, really, really happy with these beers. So anyway, that's me, Little John, for the day. I've got another video I'm in the middle of trying to bloody do, which I need to finish off, and it's going to get a little bit interesting, but yeah, it's simple. Finish these off. But anyway, that's me for now. So if you've got any questions on the process of this beer, because as I said, the video from Brew Day did have a big gap that got missed in the, in the middle. So if you do have anything you want to clarify, yeah, go ahead and ask down the bottom, as always. Everyone knows. I answer any questions. You want to know something, I'm more than happy to chat about it. If you haven't subscribed to Little John, hit the button up here. This is what we do. We make beer, we drink beer. Sometimes we get a little bit pissy on fucking video when we're tasting our beers. But that's all good. Come along for the ride. We have fun. So that's me, Little John. So, till I'm looking at you again, we're brewing beer, we're talking beer, or we're drinking beer. Good brewing.